Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast. So this is going to be a special edition of the podcast because we're going to be talking about ancient wisdom and leadership lesson from the Book of Proverbs. Today is January the 13th, so we're going to be studying Proverbs chapter 13. Again, this is not a religious podcast, but it's about ancient wisdom and being mentored from the Book of Proverbs, focusing on the wisdom and the leadership lessons. All right. Before we get started, let's do our moment of gratitude, as is our custom here on this channel. So that's where we take just a moment to be grateful for something every single time that we meet. So if you would, maybe close your eyes, put yourself in your happy place, take a deep breath, slow down your nervous system, and think about gratitude. What are you grateful for right now? The thing is, I may not really know what the future holds for me or for you, but I am hopeful that my tomorrow will be better than my today. So today I am grateful for hope, knowing that some way, somehow, things are going to get better. For me personally, for my community, for my country, and for the world. Some way, somehow, we are going to find our way to peace. This one verse in the Bible I really like, and I think it's becoming more and more relevant the older I become, right? Peace on earth and goodwill toward men. There is so much violence and wars and rumors of wars and animosity and division. And I am really hoping for peace on earth and goodwill toward every man. So that's my hope, and that's what I am thankful for today, being positive in the midst of global chaos. And let us know what you are grateful for. Type it in the comment, and also let us know where you are joining us from, what city, what state, and if outside of the US, which country. And also, if you have any insight on any of the verses we're going to read today, Proverbs chapter 13, please type it in the comment. And once I give you my thought about this chapter, just let me know your feedback. All right. To get started, let's go back to Ron Carpenter, AI, which again, as you recall, I interviewed the AI twin of Apostle Ron Carpenter. I believe it was season 4, episode 15 last year. So we're going to get his take on Proverbs chapter 1 through chapter 12. So everything we've covered so far.
Hi, this is Pastor Ron Carpenter. How can I help? All right, listen closely. Proverbs chapter 1 is all about the beginning of wisdom, and that start is the fear of the Lord. It's about getting wisdom, getting instruction, the spirit of wisdom and revelation so you can see life clearly and make choices that don't mess you up. The whole thing points to the fact that wisdom is isn't just a heart posture, a way of living that sets you apart. That's the big idea right there. Chapter 2 picks up from that foundation in chapter 1 and digs into why wisdom is like your best friend, your protector. It shows how wisdom saves you from the fools and the You see, it's about hearing God's voice early, before trouble hits, so you can live long, peaceful days. The fear of the Lord keeps you safe and gives avoid all kinds of foolishness. That's the big deal there. All right, chapter 3 is like wisdom's personal invitation. It tells us to trust the Lord with all our heart and not our own understanding. Come on, that's powerful. When you do that, He'll make your path straight, guiding you through life with success and peace. It's about leaning in, not just knowing God's favor daily. That's a dang good life lesson right there. All right, chapter 4 is like the pep talk from your wise, loving dad, telling you to grab hold of wisdom and never about guarding your heart, because everything you do flows from it, and you got to stay clear of folly that leads to destruction. It's a strong companion and your priority, period. That's the heart of it. All right, chapter 5 is a warning about the dangers of temptation, especially the seductive traps that can wreck your life and your future. It's got about staying faithful and wise, not falling for foolish shortcuts or lies that seem sweet and bitter. The message is your eyes locked on what's righteous and don't let yourself get fooled. That's the big point right there. All right, Proverbs chapter 6 is packed with tough love. It warns about foolish promises, laziness, and how God hates those who live among brothers. But the star of the show is that little ant. Man, that ant shows us what diligence and foresight look like, working steady and preparing ahead. That's the kind of wisdom God wants us to get, practical, real, and hard-earned. All right, chapter 7 is like this desperate shout from wisdom warning you about getting caught up in temptation, especially that sneaky kind that looks good but wrecks. Wisdom screaming for you to wake up, guard your heart, and choose the right way before it's too late. That's the big idea right there. Third is wisdom personified like a woman calling out in the streets, inviting folks to live life the right way. It's about how wisdom was with God before creation, showing wisdom is divine order and foundation for everything. The big idea, listen to wisdom's call and you'll walk in safety and honor. Chapter 9, I'm knocking on the door, y'all. It's calling us to come on in, choose life, and leave the life of fools behind. Wisdom is of blessing and safety if we listen. It's an invitation, plain and simple. All right, now, chapter 10 is like a packed toolbox of wisdom, short, punchy saying. Wise choices make life better and foolish ones mess it up. It covers everything from how your words can heal or hurt to hard work versus laziness and integrity. Bottom line, every choice matters, and your life reflects what you plant with your decisions. Chapter 11 is all about the contrast between righteousness and wickedness showing up in blessings and consequences. It's like a mirror. You can see how being honest and while deceit and pride lead to trouble. That's the heart of it. All right, chapter 12 gets into how your choices about speech, work, and integrity shape your life. It shows that a righteous person's will bring life, but fools just shoot off their mouths and cause trouble. It's a reminder that wisdom shows up in everyday actions and habits, not just fancy theory. All right,
All
chapter
right.
13.
So that's the review from chapter 1 through chapter 12. Okay, and I'm going to quickly review the 7 lessons we learned yesterday from Proverbs chapter 12. And again, you guys can go back to your favorite podcast platform from Apple Podcast to Spotify, or whatever your favorite podcast platform is, including YouTube and LinkedIn, and then listen to the 12 previous episode about the ancient wisdom and leadership lesson from Proverb. But I'm going to give you a quick review from the 7 lessons yesterday. So lesson number 1 was correction is a leadership gift, and that was based on verse 1. So leaders who love learning must also love correction, because growth requires humility, the willingness to be coached, challenged, and refined. Okay, lesson number 2, character will outlive competence. That's verses 2 and 3. So skill may open doors, but character will keep those doors open. Wicked shortcuts undermine long-term stability. Okay, lesson number 3. Integrity is a strategic advantage. Verses 5 and 6. Righteous leader plan with clarity and fairness, but deceit will corrupt both strategy and trust. Lesson number 4. Quiet excellence beats loud posturing. At verse 9. True leadership values substance over status. Humility paired with competence will earn respect. All right, lesson number 5. Yesterday we talked about words shaping culture, verses 18 and 19. Speech can wound or heal. Leaders set emotional and ethical tone through their words. All right, lesson number 6 was about diligence earns authority. At verses 11 and 24. Consistent effort will precede influence, whereas lazy leadership forfeits trust. And the last lesson we learned yesterday, lesson number 7, truth builds trust and lies destroy trust. So verses 17 and 22. Trust is a leadership currency. Once you spend through deceit, once you spend that trust through deceit, it is very hard to recover. It takes a long time to build trust, but it's so easy to lose it. So we have to be vigilant. All right, let's start today with Proverbs chapter 13. And also, if you have any insight or aha moment from everything we've learned so far from Proverbs chapter 1 through chapter 12, please type it in the comment. What was the biggest thing you've learned from the book of Proverbs so far and how you are going to apply it, most importantly? Again, what's amazing to me is how a book written thousands of years ago, right, can still be applicable today in the 21st century in 2026. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Proverbs 13. So, what's the big idea about Proverbs 13? So, Proverbs 13 really teaches us that leadership effectiveness is shaped by daily discipline, right? Wisdom, stewardship, and relationships. So, outcomes are rarely accidental. Fruit will follow the formation, right? You kind of harvest what you sow. All right. So leaders do not drift into credibility or influence or legacy. They build them intentionally through teachability, self-control, and wise choices over time. That's something my primary mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell, says, right? It doesn't, good things don't happen by accident, right? Because you have to swim upstream. You have to go against the current. You have to be intentional. But now, if you just want to drift, and not accomplish very much, then you don't have to do anything. Life will do that for you. But if you want to be significant, if you want to achieve your goal, then you have to be intentional with everything you do. All right. So the theme for this chapter is on discipline today will determine your influence tomorrow. Okay, what you do today will determine your influence. All right, lesson number 1. Teachability is the gateway to growth. You have to be teachable. So that's verse 1. Let's listen to that.
A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke.
Wisdom always heeds instruction. Pay attention, listen. So wise leaders listen before they lead. Especially once you first join an organization and you are leading a department, a function of the entire organization, it is so important to spend some time just listening. Go on and listening to find out exactly what is going on and how people do what they do, what's working, what's not working. Get a lot of feedback before you start making decision, because wise leaders, they listen before they lead. So correction is not a threat, it is a gift. So pride will close ears, but humility opens pathway to growth. All right. So it's important to be humble as a leader. You don't know everything, and you still have a lot to learn, and you have to be willing to learn from the people who work for you within your organization. All right. So how do we apply this? So invite feedback from peers, from mentors, and those you lead. Create psychological safety where truth can travel upward, where people feel safe to tell you exactly what they think, because you might have a blind spot, and what they say might actually help you be more effective and even avoid a terrible, catastrophic mistake. So, who is allowed to challenge your thinking? And that really should be everyone, including those people who may not like you personally. Just listen to them, get rid of the dirt, but look for the gold, because that might just make you a better man, a better leader, and help you be more effective at achieving the mission of your organization. So, how do you respond when corrected under pressure? Yeah, one of the biggest lesson or trend I'm seeing throughout the Book of Proverbs is not just doing the right thing, but doing it when you are under stress and under pressure. That's really where your character is revealed. So the anchor reflection, leadership maturity is measured not by how loudly we speak, but by how well we listen. Again, I've said this before, but my mom taught me when I was a kid, and it stayed with me. Right? God gave you two ears and one mouth, and she told me to use those in proportion. So listen twice as much as I speak. Because as you listen, you are learning, and as you listen, you're going to make better decision, even if you don't agree with what's being said. Knowing exactly where people stand will give you a strategic advantage, and then you can speak knowing the facts and making better decision. So listen well. All right. Leadership lesson number 2. Words will shape outcomes and cultures. So we're going to read verses 2 and 3.
A man shall eat well by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the unfaithful feeds on violence. He who guards his mouth preserves his life, but he who opens wide his lips shall have destruction.
Guard your mouth and preserve your life. Wow, that's powerful. So a leader's word, they can protect or destroy. Discipline in speech preserves credibility and trust. So pause before responding. That's why I love to be grateful every single day. Just take a small pause, maybe breathe and calm your nervous system, but think before you act. Don't just react, but respond. And you respond by creating a space that allows you calm yourself down, think, and then come up with the right response to whatever challenges you are facing. So pause before responding, especially in conflict, especially when you are under pressure, especially when you are under great stress. Pause before you respond. Because so many people make a lot of mistakes when they are in a hurry and they just react and they don't really take time to think. So, model restraint and intentional communication. I think as a leader, we really should try hard to be cool under pressure. Okay. Think, make up your decision, and then take action. So, do your words build alignment or do they create confusion? And where might silence serve you better than reaction? So, the anchor reflection, leaders guard their mouths because they guard their mission. All right, lesson number 3. Discipline separates aspiration from achievement. So there's a big difference between accomplishing something and just aspiring to accomplish something. All right, and the discipline is what makes the difference. Let's go to Proverb verse 4.
The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich.
The soul of the diligent. If you are diligent, you shall be made rich. So, desire without discipline will produce frustration. But sustainable success belongs to leaders who pair vision with consistent effort, being diligent. Another one of my mentor, again, I highly recommend this book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. He says the difference between successful people and those who are not so successful is that successful people, just like those who are not, uh, don't like to do what they need to do. However, successful people will do what they need to do when they need to do it, whether they feel like it or not. That's the big difference. I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do it because this is going to make me successful. I'm going to do this because it's going to bring me closer to my goal, and I'm going to do this every single day. I will be consistent. Whereas people who are not so successful, they still have the same desire, the same aspiration, but they just don't do anything. There is no diligence, there is no discipline. But when you discipline yourself to do, again, what you need to do, when you need to do it, whether you feel like it or not, success is pretty much guaranteed. You will achieve your goals. So have a vision, but also follow it up with consistent effort. Uh, like it says in the book of James, it's not just hearing the word, but it's hearing the word of God, hearing the wisdom, the instruction, but then also doing it, putting it into practice. That's really what makes the difference. Just head knowledge itself, that is not going to do very much. Many times when I talk about leadership principle, some people would come to me and say, "Oh, Bob, I already knew that. I mean, I've learned that for a long time." Well, that might be true, but the thing is, if you know it but you don't actually practice it, then you don't know it. The way I know that you know something is when you do it consistently. You practice it every day, then you know it. But if it's just head knowledge, it's not in your heart, it's not in what you actually do, then you really do not know it. All right. So that's a big key, I think, for success: application, consistent effort, discipline. All right. So how do you apply this? So translate goals into habits, right? What you actually do. Measure progress by consistency, not motivation. And that's why, right, they say most people, brand new year, January 2026, people come up with this resolution, these big goals, things they want to accomplish. And usually by, February, March, they completely abandon their goal. They say, "Oh, I'm going to work out at least 3 days a week during this new year." Maybe that works for the first week, the second week. So by about now, by the third week of January, they completely give up. They don't follow through. There is no consistency. There is no discipline. And like I mentioned previously, one thing you also need to do to help yourself is to make it so that in the environment that you control, that you make it easy for you to do the right thing, that you are not tempted. Remove all temptation, so that it is easier for you to say yes to what you need to do without using your willpower to resist some type of temptation that's within your environment. I think that's going to help too. So measure progress by consistency, but not by motivation. So where are you hoping effort will replace discipline? Because it will not. What habit would most accelerate your leadership growth right now? What is the number one thing you need to focus on right now? What is that one thing that's going to make the greatest difference right now? That's what you need to work on. So dreams mature into result only through disciplined action. Again, when we talk about discipline, it's you doing what you need to do, when you need to do it, whether you feel like it or not. And one thing I have realized throughout my own experience is when you start doing those things that you need to do, when you need to do them, even though you don't enjoy doing them, once you get started, right, you will start to enjoy it. For example, I used to be a couch potato before I joined the Navy, and then I started running. I've said it before. The first time I tried to run a mile and a half, I kind of, fell apart. I pretty much collapsed on the runway. I felt like I was having a heart attack. It wasn't a heart attack. It's just that I wasn't exercising at all. But after a while, though, I started getting better and better and better. And it's like I don't really like running. I don't like the way it feels, but the more I did it, the more I enjoyed, especially once I got the runner's high, right? So you just need to get started, and before you know it, you are going to get into it. But you need to get that engine going, right? And sometimes it takes a lot of effort, right, to get something started. But once it's in motion, then it's so much easier to keep it in motion. I think for most things, important in life, that's how it is. Whether it's writing an article or running or exercising or whatever it is that you need to do, that's important. That's going to have a huge impact on your career, on your life, or the direction you are going, usually you don't really want to do it. You don't like the way it feels. But once you get started, then it is so much easier to keep it up. All right. So lesson number 4, integrity will protect long-term influence, verses 5 and 6.
A righteous man hates lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and comes to shame. Righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but wickedness overthrows the sinner.
So your righteousness will guard you. It will protect you. Integrity is a shield. It's protection. Compromise may promise speed, but it will extract a long-term cost from leadership credibility. You are going to lose that credibility, that trust, which again, I said earlier, it's very difficult to build. It takes a long time, but so easy to lose. So if you have a choice, always use your integrity, even if it's at a cost to you, because it is a shield. It will protect you. All right, so choose the right path even when it slows momentum. Integrity compounds over time. Again, the compound effect, great book. I think everybody should read it. Whatever you are doing, whether it's good or bad, eventually it will compound. One example I've used before, if you eat junk food, whatever it might be, pizza, hamburger, candy, or whatever it is, you will not gain, or if you drink soda or whatever, you won't be gaining 5 pounds the minute you drink soda. Right, you won't get diabetes the minute you drink a cup of Coca-Cola or whatever it is that you shouldn't be doing, at least not excessively. But if you keep doing it day after day after day after day after day, eventually you will see the effect of that long term. So because it compounds. And same thing for if you're doing something that's right, you exercising and eating right, you're not gonna lose like 20 pounds overnight. But you keep doing it for a week, for 2 weeks, you might lose 2 pounds, 5 pounds, maybe even 10 pounds after a while. But before you know it, you're gonna reach a level where you're gonna start seeing incredible result if you are consistent, if you are disciplined, if you keep doing what you do, because there is a compounding of what you are doing. Integrity compounds over time. All right, so where are you tempted to rationalize a shortcut? And what boundaries protects your values under pressure? What guardrails do you have in place? So the anchor reflection is character doesn't limit leadership, it sustains it. All right. Because it's not really great for some people where they are great leaders that do great and wonderful things, and then toward the end of their life, they just fall apart. That is really not what I want for my future. I want to start good. I want to start strong, but more importantly, I want to end strong, because that's where we talk about legacy. So you need to sustain your leadership, and you do that through character, through integrity. All right, lesson number 5, stewardship will determine legacy, verses 7 and 11. Stewardship will determine legacy.
There is one who makes himself rich, yet has nothing, and one who makes himself poor, yet has great riches. By pride comes nothing, but wealth gained by dishonesty will be diminished. But he who gathers by labor will increase.
He who gathers by labor will increase. Flashy gain will fade, but faithful stewardship will last. Leaders are measured by how well they manage resources, not how quickly they acquire them. So, how do you apply this? Build patiently. It takes time. People, trust, system, and culture. Build patiently. Avoid shortcuts that undermine sustainability. So, are you building for speed or durability? And how are you stewarding influence entrusted to you? Be a good steward. And something my new mentor taught me, General Biggs, he said, rank is rented, but trust is earned. Whatever position of leadership you have right now, it's only for a pretty short amount of time, because eventually you're going to have to vacate the position. Somebody else is going to step into that role. You will not be CEO or CISO or director or vice president forever. It is for a limited amount of time. At some point, you're going to need to retire, or you're going to get a better offer. Something will happen, or you may even be forced out of your position, but eventually you will no longer have that title. So you really have to steward that influence very, very well for your organization. All right. So the anchor reflection is true wealth in leadership is measured in trust, not transactions. All right. Leadership lesson number 6. Wise counsel sharpens decision making. Let's go verse 10.
By pride comes nothing but strife, but with the well-advised is wisdom.
With the well advised is wisdom. Wise counsel sharpens decision making. Pride will isolate the leader, but counsel strengthens them. And many failures stem not from lack of intelligence, but from refusal to listen. So we really have to develop our emotional quotient, our emotional intelligence. Because just having a great IQ, that's not going to solve all of your problems. No. Where I live here in Silicon Valley, I think our IQ is pretty much off the chart. We have so many smart people, really geniuses that live here. But many of them do have trouble with dealing with people, being aware of themselves, their own emotion, and then of their surrounding. And we definitely need to work on that. All right. We need to learn to listen, not be too centered on me, myself, and I, on ourselves, but being open to learn from people who work for us, our peers, and our bosses, not thinking that we have all of the answer. Right? Don't lead with pride, but lead with humility. And I've said this before. I've been in the Navy for 21 years now. I have worked for a lot of senior leaders, most of them extremely good. But in my experience, I've never seen a general officer, general or admiral, who led with pride ever. No, it seems to me like they all go to some type of humility school when they are captain or colonel before they get their 1 star. It's quite amazing. I've seen some senior officer my rank, commander, lieutenant colonel, or colonel and captain, who few of them, who are a little bit proud, a little bit puffed up for their accomplishment, which they have accomplished a lot. But pride is not going to serve you, not long term. But when you are humble, I think that really sustains your leadership and your influence within your organization. So learn to lead with humility. So surround yourself with diverse and principled advisors who will tell you what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. You need to give permission to a group of people to speak to you frankly. All right. So who has permission to disagree with you? That's very important. I think everybody should have a mastermind. Everybody should have a personal board of director. Just like many companies have boards of director, you need to have a board of counsel, people who can speak to you and help you when you have to make a tough decision, right? And how do you test your assumption before acting? Who is checking your blind spot? Who's got your back? And you have to be open for feedback, open for coaching. So the anchor reflection here is great leaders borrow wisdom to avoid preventable mistakes. So many mistakes are preventable if you would just listen. And for that, you need great counsel. All right, the final lesson for today is influence is transferred through relationship. All right, we're going to read down verse 20. Influence is transformed through relationship.
He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed.
He who walks with wise men will be wise. This reminds me something. I believe it was Zig Ziglar who used to say this, but I think I've also heard Jim Rohn say the same thing. You are kind of the average of the 5 people closest to you, generally speaking. The amount of money you make is usually the average of your 5 closest friends, people you hang around. So your surrounding, your crew, your tribe has a huge impact on your destiny. You become who you hang around with. And if you are the smartest person in the room, Papa John says that all the time, then you are in the wrong room, because you need to be in a room where you can learn. So you need to have people smarter than you, people who know more than you, people who have more wisdom. You need to be in their presence so that they may bring you up to their level. You can learn from them. Again, not by speaking a bunch of nonsense, but by listening and learning, paying attention, being aware, and really modeling after those people. So influence is transferred through relationship. So leaders are shaped by proximity. Who are you next to? Which books do you read? You know, which wisdom do you listen to? Who do you allow to speak into your life? That's going to make a difference, your destiny. So character, habits, and decision making reflect the company we keep. So there are certain things I believe they are caught, right, in the atmosphere, in the environment, in the proximity. They are caught, but they are not taught, right? And you have to be very careful who your friends are and people you hang out with, because you will eventually end up like them. All right. So, how do you apply this? Audit your inner circle, people who are closest to you. Intentionally align with people who elevate your values and thinking. People who think like you, people who have similar goal. I have a mastermind. I have mentors, and spend time with people who are more successful than you are, so you can learn from them, from their example, and model after them. So, who is influencing your leadership right now? Which books are you reading? Which YouTube video are you listening to? Who is influencing you right now? Who's speaking into your life? And are your relationships sharpening or dulling you? And from time to time, I think you need to make an assessment. And if anybody you spend a lot of time with is not sharpening you, then you probably need to spend less and less time with them. And if they are, then you probably need to spend more and more time with them. How do people make you feel when you are in their presence? Who is lifting you up and who's trying to put you down? Because you have the freedom, you have the right to choose who you hang out with. Choose wisely. All right, so the anchor reflection, leadership direction often mirror relational direction. All right, so Proverbs chapter 13 reminds us that leadership is not defined by intention alone, but by disciplined choices made consistently over time. So first you have to have intention, what you want to do, your aspiration, but then you have to put the discipline behind it. You have to take action and do it over and over again consistently over time. So wisdom compounds, integrity protects, stewardship sustains. So leaders who embrace correction, govern their words, and choose wise relationship will build influence that endures beyond position or title. All right, that's today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday. I believe it's going to be in the afternoon for Proverbs chapter 14. Again, we're going to be focusing on ancient wisdom and leadership lesson for Proverbs 14 on January 14th. And tomorrow, I will also have a great pleasure of speaking with the one and only Commander Erica Dobbs. She's a battle-tested servant leader, tech CEO, and veteran entrepreneur. And we're going to be speaking tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking about her story, going from seaman recruit to Navy commander, and now she's turned tech CEO. And tomorrow also, I will be speaking with Lisa Fenn. She's a mentoring architect, best-selling author of 2 books on mentorship, The Mentor's Guide and Bridging Differences for Better Mentoring. She also has a really great TEDx talk, which is just wonderful. So we'll be speaking with Lisa tomorrow, and then on Friday, I just confirmed this. Let me see if I have. I'm going to be speaking to a 4-star general, General Larry Spencer, and I am so looking forward to it. So the general will be here. He's a people first servant leader, a trailblazer. He has really, I mean, he's a true trailblazer. He's had a lot of instances of first in the U.S. Air Force. And we're going to be talking about Dark Horse, from airman to 4-star general. And he has a best-selling book titled that way too. And tomorrow, on a Friday as well, after speaking to the general, I will also be speaking with Jamie. And Jamie is a Harvard graduate, and she's really a catalyst for a career catalyst. A strategist and transformation architect. We're going to be talking about career agility in an uncertain world. You do not want to miss it. And I have one more person that was confirmed this week. Let me find that. It's going to be, okay, here we go. Mr. Artsdale. He is going to be here, and we are going to be talking. I believe that is going to be on Saturday. Colonel Josh Artsell is a medical doctor, a combat physician, educator, speaker, and best-selling author of Prescription for Caring in Healthcare Leadership. So we're going to be talking about a prescription for caring. Retired colonel from the U.S. Army medical doctor. So you don't want to miss this. And we are definitely looking forward to all of these leadership conversation this week, starting tomorrow. And each one of those days, I will continue again with the ancient wisdom and leadership lesson from the book of Proverbs. So today we did chapter 13, being January 13. Tomorrow I will do the chapter 14, and next day chapter 15, and the day after that chapter 16, until we complete the series on the last day of January 31st, all 31 chapters of the book of Proverbs. All right. Thank you so much for being with us today, and see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.